Okay, so if you're one of the 5 million people headed to the US, Canada, or Mexico this summer to watch football, then you need to think about how you're going to stay connected. Otherwise, you could end up paying a small fortune just to use your phone. The answer is an eSIM. But the one you pick matters more on this trip than you'd realize. Because when you've got 80,000 people packed into a stadium all using their phones, networks get hammered, meaning Google Maps doesn't work, messages don't go through, and apps like Uber stop working entirely. And look, the biggest problem here is that most eSIMs lock you into a single carrier. So if that network is struggling, then you have a serious problem. Saily works differently. They give you access to multiple carriers, and their eSIM will automatically find and connect you to whichever one has the strongest signal, meaning that the odds you'll stay connected are a lot higher. So in this video, I'm going to show you how Saily works, how they compare on price, and how to install their eSIM on an iPhone. So every Saily eSIM comes with built-in ad blocking, web protection, and a virtual location feature that works like a VPN, and that's at no extra cost. There's also an adult site blocking feature that's useful if you're getting an eSIM for your children. The one I like to use the most is the ad blocker. This saves me data and ultimately money because it stops pointless ads from loading, and the savings are actually pretty decent. West Coast Labs, who are independent, found that Saily's ad blocker reduced data usage by nearly 30%. So on a 10 gig plan, you could technically save 3 gigabytes just by switching it on. And I think if you're someone who browses a lot, then that's going to be really beneficial. But that's only going to benefit you if you get one of Saily's fixed data plans. If you're thinking about getting an unlimited eSIM, there's something really important that you should know. Fair usage policies. This means that if you hit a certain amount of data in a day, your speeds get throttled, and every unlimited eSIM comes with them. What I like about Saily is that they're completely upfront about it, and you get 5 gigabytes of high-speed data per day before you're throttled. Airalo gives you 3 gigabytes, Nomad 2, and Olafly won't even tell you when it's going to happen. And on price alone, Saily and all of these big eSIM providers are fairly close, but the difference is in that high-speed data allotment. And when you apply my 15% discount code TMoney at checkout, Saily becomes the cheapest option by far, and that makes them a really compelling choice for unlimited. For example, let's say you're using the full 5 gigabytes of high-speed data every day across 10 days. Well, you're potentially getting 50 gigabytes for just 59 cents per gig. And for high-speed data in the US, that is seriously good value, especially compared to what your normal carrier would probably charge you for roaming. So if you do want that discount, the link is in the description box below, along with the code TMoney. That'll get you 15% off Saily. Also, if you're watching games in Canada and Mexico, Saily's actually offering 35% off their Fan Pass plan. This is a regional eSIM that'll keep you connected across all 3 countries. So wherever the tournament may take you, you'll be covered, and that plan is also available through the link in the description box. Now, we've covered unlimited eSIMs, so let me show you how Saily compares on prices for the fixed data plans. And I'll be straight with you here, they aren't the cheapest. Roamless and eSIM are both cheaper across the board, and Nomad's 20 gigabyte plan is pretty hard to argue with on price. But I'd still choose Saily over these providers. And I'll tell you why. Firstly, they use this network called One Global, which means your phone is constantly looking for the best available signal. And I think that's going to be really important for you on this trip. And not just because stadiums and cities will be busy and networks will be congested, but just for peace of mind that you know if you get lost and you need maps or you need an Uber or even just to call someone, you will stay connected. And I think that's worth paying a little extra for. And of course, on top of that, you're going to get security features that I already mentioned. They're going to be running in the background at no extra cost. And when you do apply the 15% discount, Saily's 10 gigabyte plan does drop to just under $20, which does reduce that gap. And once you've chosen your eSIM, it's time to install it. But before you do anything, there are a few very important things to know. Firstly, Saily transacts in US dollars. So if that's not your home currency, which is probably not if you're traveling to the US, make sure you're paying with a card that has decent exchange rates. I tend to use my Wise business card. And when it comes to installing the eSIM, you need to make sure you have a stable connection, because if it drops, the install can fail. So try to do it at home and on Wi-Fi before you travel. And don't worry about it activating early. The eSIM won't start until your phone connects to a local network in the US. So you can install today and it will be ready for when you arrive. Now, when you go to checkout, you can actually choose to enable auto top-up. This is nice if you don't want to worry about running out of data, and it's also a really easy way to earn extra Saily credits, which I'm going to now use towards paying for this eSIM. And once you've checked out, just click continue and then let's start. And unless you're sharing the eSIM with someone else, you'll want to choose on this device. And then click continue and then tap Start eSIM Install. You'll then be redirected to your iPhone settings where you want to tap Activate and then continue. Now, this part can take up to 60 seconds, and try to avoid toggling away or closing your phone because that can cause the install to fail. So please be patient and you should eventually see this page, and there you can select abroad. Now, Saily's eSIMs are data only, so select that option and then tap continue, and you'll see that the eSIM has now been installed. But there are a few very important things you still need to do. So under SIMs and inside your iPhone settings, you want to find the newly installed eSIM, and it's probably labeled travel-webbing. Tap on that, then tap mobile plan label, and then edit custom label and rename this to something you'll recognize. Now, if you want to turn this eSIM on, let's say you've just landed in the US, you're ready to use it, you'll first want to find your primary SIM and turn data roaming off. That way you don't get charged by your carrier. And if you want to go one step further, you could turn it off entirely. I like to leave it on so I can still receive calls and SMS to my normal number, but I make sure data roaming is off. That is critical. Then just go back, find your new Saily eSIM, toggle turn on this line to on, then toggle data roaming to on. And that's it. It will now go live as soon as you connect to a US network. And in case you have any problems or questions regarding the installation, Saily's customer support is very responsive. At this point, I must have tested them at least probably over 10 times. And I usually use the in-app chat to speak to them and just immediately request to speak to a human. And it normally takes just a couple of minutes to connect. They've also got a 4.7 on Trustpilot with a lot of people saying how good the support is. So it's not just me. The general consensus is that the staff are quick to respond and very patient. Okay, so the link and coupon Team Money are all in the description box below. And if you found the video useful, please do give it a like to help more people find it. And let me know if you have any questions, or if you need help with anything eSIM related, just comment below and I'll respond as quickly as possible. Thank you.